Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm going to start off by letting you know that Dr. Marilyn Thornton, she is the Executive Director of Families Helping Families of Greater Baton Rouge. And on behalf of Families Helping Families of Greater Baton Rouge, I would like to thank you for joining us this morning. Families Helping Family is a family-driven nonprofit resource center for individuals with disabilities and their families. Our mission is to provide the individualized services, information, and support needed to positively enhance the independence, productivity, and integrations of persons with disabilities into the community. Our program includes the Bureau of Family Health, Early Steps, the Empowerment Program, Inclusive Education, the Resource Center for Autism Spectrum Disorder, and through the Louisiana Developmental Disability Council, LACAN, and Advocacy Network. Across all of our service areas, we provide information and referrals, education and training, and family-to-family and/or peer-to-peer support. Our empowerment program provides families in Louisiana with mental health, behavioral health education, skills, and resources to increase and strengthen their ability to function successfully. We provide in-person workshops, webinars, and parent caregiver professional monthly support conference calls. We also have travel stipends to offer financial support to families to attend workshops and conferences. The stipend covered transportation, hotels, and meals. Please continue to check your email and our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for upcoming events, workshops, and conference participation opportunities. Just a friendly reminder, our upcoming empowerment program and Families Helping Families events are as follows. So we have the Friends and Family Inclusive Luau, which is June 21st at Breck's Liberty Lagoon. That's 111 Lobdell Avenue, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We have a free call-in support network, Parents Caregivers Networking Meeting, Tuesday, June 18th at 5 p.m. This is the opportunity for parents across Louisiana to share behavioral health resources in their area. Mental health community resources, in-person training, June 12th at 5:30 p.m., presented by Elizabeth Latino from Ascension Counseling Center at 112 East Ascension Complex Boulevard, Gonzales, Louisiana. Understanding and Managing Medication, free webinar, Thursday, June 13th at 12 p.m., presented by Dr. Rosalind Thyssen from Trey Haberhart Foundation. Please visit our website and our Facebook page to obtain the conference call information and all webinar and in-person training registration links. During today's training, we will discuss the art of self-care, presented by Karen Stevens of Family Service of Greater Baton Rouge. Karen Stevens, she is a licensed professional counselor and a national certified counselor who has worked with children and families for over 18 years. Currently, she serves as a senior early childhood mental health consultant with Tulane University TICE. That's Tulane Infant and Early Childhood Consultation Supports and Services. Program Region 2. Karen is also a Louisiana Pathways Early Childhood trainer. Her enthusiasm for the early childhood field is shown throughout her work and collaboration in centers. Karen is passionate about supporting children, families, and providers to build positive relationships. Karen studied at Southern University and A&M College, where she received her bachelor in child development and her master's in mental health counseling. Please be advised that this presentation will be muted to all participants who are joining us by webinar. However, you can type your questions in the chat box, and at the end of the presentation, I will give all attendees control of the mic if you have any additional questions. Again, we appreciate you for joining. Now I'll turn it over to today's presenter, Ms. Karen Stevens.
Good morning. Can you all hear me? Can everyone hear me? Ms. Keisha, you can hear me? I'm good.
You're good, Ms. Karen.
All right. Good morning. Thank you for the introduction, and thank each and every one of you for taking time out your day to attend the art of self-care. And I want to open up with an activity for you. First, I want you to take a moment to breathe. And when I say breathe, take a deep breath in. Inhale and exhale. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale. One more deep breath in. And exhale. I wanted you to enter into a space that provides you with relaxation. When you think of self-care and the art of self-care, today we're going to think about what are the things that we're currently doing? How does it impact me when I'm not taking care of myself? What are the things that I should be considering? And I just want to start with a couple of facts. Do you know that 68% of mothers feel stressed? We'll move that into our children, our teens. According to the American Institute of Stress, about 18.2% of teens experience anxiety, which is due to stress. When we think about students, over 48% of students deal with stress. For the past few years, we've been going through COVID. Some of our family members are still experiencing it. That was a very overwhelming and stressful time. So as we move into the art of self-care, keep those statistics in your mind and think about, what's that me? How did it impact me or my family or my friends or people in my community? And change the slide. Where is your tank? Take it back to where is your tank for me, please. Where is your tank? I want you to take a moment to really think about, on a scale from 0 to 10, where is your tank? 0 being completely empty, 10 being I'm on full. And you can write your number down and you can put your number in the chat if you choose to. Where is your tank? Ms. Keisha, can you monitor the chat for me?
Yes, ma'am, no problem. And
Okay.
so the first number I have,
Mhm.
oh, well, first I'm gonna answer, yes, everyone will get a copy of the PowerPoint.
Okay.
And the first number I have is 6. Also, someone says their tank is full.
You know, I like to have you check
And
in.
7.
And 7. Okay. Okay.
Oh, someone says 0.
Yes. 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 Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Any more numbers coming in?
Okay, 0 is the last number.
Okay. So with the quote, an empty tank will take you exactly nowhere. Taking time to review is important. And for those that may have been on the higher end of the scale,
Okay, I have a 5,
okay,
another 5.
okay,
So they're halfway there. A
halfway,
3,
a 3, yes. Yeah, yes. And we're noticing that the variation in our tanks, right? Some of us are, our tank is empty, some we're midway, we are, in good spaces where our tank is like over half full. But with each of us, as we think about our numbers and where our tank is, begin to think about, what have I tried so far? What are the things that I'm using so far that's helped me? What am I using to help me? What has led to my number being where it is? If I'm at a 0 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 6, what are the things that I've done that have led me to this number? Because there's something that most of us have heard, and at some point, maybe we've experienced it, and it's called stress. And I gave those statistics around that. And I gave that because overall, life can change us. Life can be very stressful at moments, right? We could be stressed about our performance, how we're going to move, traumatic events, natural disaster, acts of violence, and various things in our community, or even just a life change, be it unexpected or expected. So at any given point, any one of us can feel stress from time to time. It can be physical, it can be mental, it can be an external cause. It can be from our children having homework, needing help, we're wondering how, to our family or friends having an illness. So as we think about checking in on our tank, keep all those things in our box as we move and navigate. Next slide, please. The objectives of our session is to really learn the importance of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And that's a theoretical framework that we often use, and you may have heard of it numerous times. We're going to walk through that. We're going to understand, what are the benefits of taking care of ourselves? Why is this so important? You've just heard some statistics around stress, but why does it matter to me? And then think about, how can we gain strategies to create our own self-care plan to support our developmental areas of growth. No two plans, some plans may say the same thing for each. Some may say, I don't like that. That's not part of my plan. So it becomes selective for each individual. Next slide. What I love about Maslow's hierarchy of needs is the fact that it's an essential tool that we can actually use that serves all of us, right? And the bottom aspect of the tool says our physiological needs. Those are the basic things that every one of us need. That's food, shelter, clothing, water, air to breathe. You notice it's at the bottom of the pyramid. It's our foundation. When I think about all of the things that we may have experienced through our communities, through our families, through natural disaster, through experience of COVID, and some of us are still going through various experiences, that challenged our physiological needs. When we were concerned about our well-being, our safety needs, it challenged our safety needs. Are we safe? Do we feel protected? How do we feel when we're going in and out of our homes, our children going in and out of schools? Our safety needs are challenged. When you think about love and belonging, are we feeling connected? Who do we connect with? Is there empathy, caring, compassion? How do I feel all together? What's esteeming me? Where am I seeing my worth? And when we get to the top of our pyramid, that's that proposed who am I and where am I? Where do I want to be and seeing myself there? So as we matriculate through the pyramid, there are aspects of this that could be challenged at any given point through a natural disaster, through COVID. When that hit us, those were needs for us. Some of us, our families, their employment shifted. They either went to having to change the way they work. Many of us came in, we moved inside. Some of us were still working. Some of us had jobs, where we were still in the community working. We may have been in healthcare professions. Some of us were educators, we were still educating. Some of us are parents, we still were children. No matter what, we were still navigating day-to-day experiences. And I'd like to take a moment to say, you deserve to give yourself a hand clap. And I say a pat on the back, a hand clap, because going through that each and every day, some of us had losses we experiences, right? But you deserve to give yourself a hand clap because each and every day you got up, you were telling yourself, I can start again. That's a part of self-care each and every day. And I call it a self-care affirmation. Working through this hierarchy of needs provided us an opportunity. And I'll be transparent. During that time, it impacted me drastically. How I work, how I provide services to children and families. So as a whole, our organization shifted how we provided services, right? We went into what most of you all experience if you've been through your healthcare professions. It was telemental health, telehealth services. So with that being said, those were new ways of doing business. It's been around, but not to the extent that we shifted it. It became our everyday way of doing things. So that meant I had to modify. And I took a strategy. It's called gratitude. And in my working space, I created things that I'm grateful for. And I'm tying this in with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I was grateful that I still had my home. I was grateful that I could still get up. And I wanted to find that each and every day. And I'd like to just kind of ask you all, what are some things that, like, as you see Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you look at your physiological and your safety, and you begin to think about where you are currently on the pyramid. How are my needs being met? Do I feel that they are? You don't have to respond, but just really taking a good look at that. Where am I on my pyramid? And all of them are essential. Next slide. We talk about self-care, but what is it? It is really just something that you're doing to take care of your physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and social health. It's very easy to say, I do that. I'm good, I do it. But sometimes it can be challenging to be consistent. We may start it, and I'm gonna ask, have any of you ever said, I'm gonna get on my journey and I'm gonna start my journey, and you found that you were doing well for maybe a couple of days or a week, and then life things start happening, family needs, work, community, things just start happening. And you found your routine that you had created for yourself started to shift. If so, put in the chat, yes, that was me. And if like, no, I've been able to maintain. Check the chat for me. I want to see. Just curious. It's a poll. It's no right or wrong. I just want to poll it.
Yes, life is definitely lifing. Yes, that's me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Okay.
Totally me.
Yes. Thank you for your authenticity over here. I love it. I want to see if I can put in the chat. Let me see if I can chat. Oh, I can. I got to say, yes, that's me too. I have to be authentic and say it was me as well. You know, establishing my routine, going well with my routine, and something happened.
And I have, yes, a roller coaster.
Yes, yes, oh, yes, the roller coaster. Up 1 minute, down the next. Thank you, thank you. We are human. That's the part of this, allowing ourselves the grace to know that we are human. Life, things happen, those unexpected shifts. Next slide. What's the benefit? One, it will allow us an opportunity to recalibrate. That's our body, our mind, establish our own natural rhythm and pace, and reclaim our power. When you think about the benefits of that, it's like no other. Have you ever considered? This is a quote. It says, your body is a precious, it's our vehicle for awakening. Treat it with care. That's a quote by Buddha. And I love that because self care will allow us to recalibrate, to begin to look at that. And that one's going into, you can move our slide to the next one.
And we did have another comment. It says, life constantly gets in the way.
Yeah, yes, yes. Life will, life will. And that's that part about creating our will, right? When we think about creating our will, I want to start with our physical. And the quote I read you was tied to our physical self care. When you think about that, think of movement. Our body as humans is not meant to be still. Now, some of us, we're moving so much to at some points, sitting still is hard for us because if you've ever found yourself saying, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Has anyone found themselves saying, how do you want me to do this? I don't have time. I have to do this, this, this. And then when I leave here, I've got to pick up this person. I've got to go to the store. I've got to do dishes. Have you found yourself saying, I don't have the time? If that's you, if it's been me and I'm walking through it, I've been that person saying, I don't have time. But creating my self-care plan and being honest and realistic with myself, there are going to be days where I might have to pivot how I've done my plan. When you think about the movement, our bodies crave movement. That's a part of who we are, to be moving, right? Even though our schedules become full, your body is the first thing that we neglect. When we think of nutrition and the rates of obesity. They're high. Because the one thing that we sometimes say, I don't have time. So our human body is often shown sometimes with that. And it may not necessarily all the time be weight. It may just be a lack of movement.
And I have another
So
comment.
yes,
She says me.
mm, yes, yes, me at the time. Thank you. Yeah,
We have another one.
uh-huh.
I never have time, yet I cannot say no.
Oh, you're getting over here into one of my other parts of that. You're coming over in another section. You get in there, just hold that, because that lends me to that part of boundaries, right? You're walking into a space that's tied to another area, but that area is centered around just being able to talk about boundaries, that intellectual self-care. That's where we're going next, but you're there. When you said when I can't say no, right? That's a boundary line. That's part of your intellectual self-care. Can't wait to get there. I'm coming back. Stay right there with me. I want you to understand why that physical part is so important. You know, motivation sometimes is something that, like, I want to move, I'll start a few minutes, I'll stop. That's not something that's unheard of. Many people struggle with the motivation to do it. Everybody knows I need to do it, I want to do it, but the motivation. When we look at the benefits, I'm going to tell you what prompted my journey. When I looked at the benefits of how it impacts my mood, it increases endorphins in my mood, it boosts my brain chemicals. I want you to know your brain is an organ just like the other part of the organs in your body. So when you think about your brain being an organ and you needing to take care of that, well, benefits of moving will support that. We just talked about the stress level. Well, guess what? That stress, sometimes we have to look at it. Am I stressed out? What's the difference between me being stressed and me actually dealing with anxiety? That's that other part of that. Am I so stressed that this could be both stress and anxiety? So moving, checking that mood, not only anxiety, but depression. Those are the number two things that we are often seeing individuals faced with. The number two mental health concerns, anxiety and depression. So your mood is impacted when you move, when you put daily movement in. It helps the brain chemicals. It increases happiness while decreasing anxiety and depression. Your energy, it increases your oxygen. It helps you get all that in your body, the flow from your heart and your lungs. Your overall health is increased. It boosts your immune system. Your weight, it helps you to maintain that healthy weight. Your confidence, how you're seeing yourself, how you're connecting with your body, your whole image, and not to mention sleep. That's something that many Americans are not getting. Adequate sleep. The number of times individuals said, I don't sleep, I wake up, I'm often up, I can't sleep, I can't get to sleep. Exercise can do that. Movement, that physical part can do it. You may be saying, okay, I don't like the gym. I don't like doing that. What are things I can do? Well, the cheapest yet effective is walking. And some of us, if we can do that, if we're released and have the ability to do it, we can do it. If that's not something we can do, well, what about trying, if you can, different yoga poses? And you could do that seated. Some things you can do seated. Stretching, you could stretch whether you're seated, standing, just doing daily stretches. Even at your desk, if you're sitting right now in your office at your desk, just being able to take moments to just stretch, bend forward, holding your arms up, finding a door opening, placing your hand on either side of that door, just stretch it, leaning forward, taking your knees, bringing your knees to your chest. All those are physical things that you can do as you stretch, right? Something that I love is dancing. Now, can I dance? I probably think I can. I don't know. That's one of the laughing things. I think I can. I don't care how I do it. Sometimes my children are like, no, mama, that's not the dance. That's not the dance. But it allows me to celebrate my art, my movement. It's not whether we're good or bad. It's just being on your feet, having an opportunity to just have the freedom to express, whether we can or not. And I'd like to ask, when was the last time you danced? Whether it was with your children through play, whether it was with friends, whether it was with family, whether it was in your community. When was the last time you danced? Added music to your movement. I'm going to poll you again. When was the last time you danced?
Okay, I actually have two comments.
Oh, okay.
I don't have time. I feel like my brain is overloaded. And also another comment is too long ago.
Yes.
Every night before bed,
Mhm, mhm. Someone said too long ago, every night before bed. Yes.
Sunday listening at a gospel song.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
A few months ago.
A few months ago. Yes. And I really want you to think about, and for the individuals that I haven't, no, it's just my mind is just going. I'm holding space for you because as you say that, I'm feeling that like everything is moving, like the wheel is going around so fast, it's like a roller coaster. And I heard someone say that it's going, you know, thinking about what will it take for me to slow this down? What will it take? Sometimes we've been on the roller coaster so long, we don't think that we can slow it down. You know, when you think about physical, touch is important too. You know, when you think about your overall self-care. When I said your body is like it's covered in nerves, right? So experiencing the concept of touch, that might look like just you doing a mindful sensory walk as you're walking, feeling your feet and how they feel when they touch the pavement. The sound, just the touch of the senses of the sound. When you're, think about babies. Babies are bare, right? They're barefoot, they're without their shoes. Sometimes as adults, we like being barefoot. Have anyone ever got home or got in the car and the first thing they did was took off their shoes? They're like, they have to have the shoes off. They don't want socks on. With that, that's giving your feet the ability to be free. You're grounding yourself. You may have never thought about that, but your feet are touching the ground. It's a part of grounding. They're directed. You're feeling that. There's benefits when you walk there. It lets you move around in a way that you naturally wouldn't. It also improves your strength and development, especially on natural surfaces. It reduces stress. Now, you probably said, I never thought all that could come from the benefits of just being there. A deeper connection with nature. You know, grounded can be just you standing outdoors on grass, sand, soil. And some of us, we may not like the texture of it. We may not like our feet feeling that. So there's other options. It might be a massage because touch is still a part of the physical. So it just may be the benefits of that massage. When you get to your intellectual, I want you to think about this. But I got to go back because I want to tie in sunlight. When we look at physical, being outdoors, the sunlight, getting a chance to soak that up, even if we're working in spaces where we're inside buildings. Some of them may have windows, some of them may not. If you don't get an opportunity to go outside much other than maybe your car on your ride in or leaving, I challenge you to take moments where you can step away and go outside because sunlight will provide you with vitamin D, right? Which helps your bones to stay strong, but they also lift your mood and they fight stress. It helps with specific illnesses, it helps with skin conditions. It's so many benefits to when you step outside and soak up the sun. So I challenge you, take a moment, step away. If you're at your desk, take a moment. Let your next break be outside. And then you can do what's called, and we do this often, it's called a five senses exercise, right? And I really want to do it right quick with you. I want you to think of sound. What do you hear in your space right now? What do you see in your space? What do you smell? What do you taste? And what do you feel? You can do this exercise anytime. You can do it with your children, with your friends, with your family, and it's a grounding exercise. But it's all around it's centered around our senses. It helps us to recognize that our senses, they're working all the time, even if we don't notice them. And it brings us back to our consciousness of the here and now, because sometimes we could be so busy moving that we miss being present because we're thinking about our next. But when you do this and you say these answers out loud or you say them privately to yourself, it's bringing you to the consciousness of here and now. Had anyone ever tried that before? If so, tell me, yes, I've tried it. No, I hadn't.
Well, I can say right now, I smell shea butter, vanilla, and coconut.
Mm. Right. In the presence. And I can say right now, I see an affirmation and it says, I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace.
Okay, I have a comment and they say, yes, I have tried it several times. No, I have never tried it.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your honesty. I would love for you to try it because it helps to ground you. It helps to slow it down. You know, when we think about slowing down, as I move into intellectual self-care, Albert Einstein says, imagination is more important than knowledge. So our ability to create, and that's where this title came in, the art of self-care. Because when we think about creating, it's within our nature to create. We're innovators, we're problem solvers, we're writers, decorators, chefs, poets, scientists, moms. I mean, we're dads. We just have all we have multiple roles. We're parents. But creativity is there. Every one of us have an opportunity to be an artist. And it's not just art, right? We think about it like that, but it's more to it than that. When was the last time you ever tried to paint? They have many different businesses now that are incorporating painting. We could do that at home. We could do it with a group. We can go even on trips that have us explore how to paint. It's so many different ways we can do this. You hear people talking about creating vision boards. Well, actually, all of that is centered around your intellectual self-care. When you hear, oh, we're having a vision board party, or we're doing a paint party, or I'm doing that for my birthday. Uh, those are all intellectual things that you can do. Music. When we talk about music, music is another part of our intellectual self-care. The power that we have with music. Someone said, I listen to music. How many of us have playlists?
Well,
Have
I actually
anybody?
have a comment. Someone says they
Uh-huh.
have tried it and can rarely
Uh,
get beyond the constant ringing in their ear.
mm,
And then I have a comment that says, okay, that was the last comment.
okay. Was there another one?
No, ma'am, that's the last one. That they
Okay.
tried it, but they can barely get beyond the constant ringing in their ears.
Mm. Well, the ringing in the ear, I'm not quite certain. I can't speak to what that may be or where that could be surfacing from, but I would say if it's something with the sound of what you're listening to, then it may be a sensory part of the sound. I'm not sure. I don't want to specifically say that it is, because sometimes sensory to different sounds can be overwhelming for individuals. The playlist, as I think about music, oftentimes individuals, our children, our family, they have specific playlists. Have you ever created what's called a happy playlist? This is a playlist that when you play this music, it changes and shifts your mood. Or if you are exercising, you have a specific playlist for music that you like to use during exercise time. Has anyone created their own playlist of music? And if so, what did you use it for? Was it like for a specific focus, or it's just something that, made you feel good? You saw your mood change. And I'll put my answer in the chat. And I'm putting, yes, I have a playlist for,
And I have someone, they said, I have a playlist. I love music and always listen to various genre of music. It's soothing and relaxing.
yes, yes, it is.
And yes, so listen to music for house cleaning.
Yes, yes.
And I have another comment. They say, no, I don't know how to create a playlist.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to challenge you. If you have someone within your community, be it friends at work, family at home, if you have children or grandchildren, someone can help you to create a playlist. I didn't know how either at one time. I was just trying to go to YouTube and find all my little songs until they showed me. I have videos and they're like, what are you doing? I have videos stacked on top of videos. And they're like, no, no, that's not how you do that. You can create one. So they showed me, but I had my own little way of doing it through YouTube, and I
Uh,
will save folder and give it a name. So you can do
well,
YouTube.
one said I've aged myself 70s.
Oh
So
yeah,
her playlist might be 70s music, is if that's what she's saying. 70s music is
yeah.
really good.
I
Um,
like 70s and 80s.
I
Yeah.
have a playlist for workouts, peace, and
Yes, I
writing.
do. Yes. Yes.
I have several playlists, but my favorite is just songs that make me feel good or bring up good memories.
Yes. 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 I love
Create playlists for exercise and one for motivation.
that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have three playlists. One is to help. Let's see,
Mm-hmm.
one is to help uplift me spiritually, and I have a happy playlist and a soothing one.
Yes. Yes. Focus.
Instrumental soothing piano music is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. My piano and jazz. I love that too. My instrumental jazz music. Yes. And I often, if I'm at the desk or in the car, I'm utilizing it. Yes, music is a part of when you're doing that, that's a part of your intellectual self-care, just as writing, right? The written word is so important. Writing is how we communicate with each other. It's our way of communicating with ourselves, tapping into our thoughts, identifying and releasing yourself from like fears or things that you desire, but you're just taking time to put those thoughts on paper. And that's a part of self-care. There's times when being able to just make it a daily habit where you can take 5 minutes, and this will help reduce anxiety when you're thinking about all of the things you have to do, right? You get your pen, a piece of paper, it doesn't have to be anything special. And you just put, like, my thoughts. What are my thoughts? Start moving them from in your mind where it's all running and putting them on there, right? Write the day of the week, put that on there, and just move those thoughts into that. What are my thoughts? What are the things that I have going here? Okay, then move to like, what do I want to complete? And being realistic with yourself. Sometimes we do these things to do and things to be completed lists, and they're so long that by the time we finish, we may have gotten to 2 or 3 tasks, and we're feeling like, I didn't get anything done. But the reality of it is it that you didn't get anything done, or were you realistic with the amount of time that each one of those required? And sometimes we're putting lists together, but we're really not thinking about how much time does each one of these tasks take me? Will there be any unexpected things along the way that I have to pivot instead of moving on that task?
And also, I have a comment. They say, yes, I have a playlist to help me sleep.
Oh,
Um, we play instrumental music
yes.
during homework time and 90s music while cleaning.
Mhm. Yes, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because there are times when individuals need music to help soothe and regulate them as they're working. And that's again about that individual self-care plan, because there's sometimes where individuals are like, no, I can't work with music. But music, making this playlist, yes, yes. When you said sleep, I have one specific for sleep as well.
And love instrumental jazz. I fall asleep to common music also.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Thank y'all for sharing. I like this. So on your mornings page, not only do you look at what needs to be completed, but your intentions, right? Thinking about, what am I completing? What is my intentions? What is it that I intend to do? What am I grateful for that I'm doing? That gratitude, creating that space for the gratitude, writing down 3 specific things that you're grateful for. And that could begin your gratitude journal. And what you find with gratitude, it's one of the best things that you can do when you're thinking about a perspective or your mindset. Learning how to become grateful for things that are really small that with so much going on, we could often miss. It can be hard to see good things when we're overwhelmed, when we're exhausted, when we're in emotional pain. That's the only picture we see. So give yourself the grace to be able to say, these things are hard. I am exhausted. I am overwhelmed. But in those moments of pain, it's so important for us to have those lists of things that we're grateful for because we can reach back and say, it's a painful time for me. But they are reminders of what that I have left, right? And I started that during COVID. I knew it, I've used it, but I really went in and every day. And the other part in my home office at home, I would challenge others as you walk in, I want you to walk to the wall. And I'm turning now in my office because it's still on my wall. And I would have everyone begin to write things that they were grateful for. And things they would share would be love, career, their children, their family, their friends, grateful for peace and meditation. Someone wrote joy in the midst of pain, the ability to stay focused. And these are all things that are around that was just written. So that's another part of that intellectual self care wheel, right? Thinking about what do I have? Another part of this, I'm not sure if everyone loves this, but reading, finding something that you enjoy. Reading relieves stress. It increases knowledge, wisdom. It helps to fight dementia. It helps with focus and concentration. Reading with children. You have children or grandchildren, sitting with them, reading with them. With technology, you got Kindles on your phone. Some of your children or some of yourselves may have iPads, and you got computers. You got all kinds of things that you can do to read. Those are great ways. Any questions so far? I want to walk into spiritual care, right? When you think of that, think about this quote: at the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are and you know what you want. And it's a quote by Lao Tzu. And with that, meditation is a part of that. We're going to walk through an experience of meditation. That may be something that you tried. It may be something like, I don't know, I'm still deciding. But what it is really just you finding a comfortable place to sit, closing your eyes in silence, breathing in through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, and it's you tracking your breath. As you begin to do that and you track your breath, you'll notice that you're becoming a little more still. At first, it may seem like, I can't get this because you're opening your eyes, you're still moving. But it's no right or wrong way. It's just keep trying it. If a thought enters your mind, because sometimes individuals say, all my thoughts are just coming, right? They may enter your mind, but while you're in your stillness, acknowledge the thought. Not try to push it away, acknowledge it. Make note of it, and then let it pass. Then refocus yourself and return back to breathing, and you'll get an opportunity to practice that. That'll be the last thing we do as we close out. When you think about your emotional connection, your self-care, when we self-regulate well, we are better able to control the trajectory of our emotional lives and resulting actions based on our values and sense of purpose by Amy Lee. Self-love. Love is something that we often seek. Sometimes it's a concept where they're like, love is overrated. What? Guess what? Everywhere we turn, there's ideas of what love is supposed to be, whether we're reading books or movies, reality TV, in society, media. We receive images of what we think this is, right? And what it's supposed to look and feel like. Sometimes it can be very confusing. Sometimes it seems unrealistic. It's distractions. There's one definition of love that truly matters, and it's the one that you define within yourself. That's the one that matters. Finding what does that mean, to figure that out, to deep dive and do the work, right? Showing up for yourself, providing empathy for yourself, kindness and understanding. And if that's something you're not used to doing, it's not going to be easy. It's going to take what? Work. When you learn how to learn for yourself, it becomes easy. That starts with maybe even just using affirmations. I started with that when I provided you with the thought of being able to say, I can start again when things happen that didn't go expected as the way we would have planned. That's a self-care affirmation, but that's also part of your emotional self-care. Being able to say, today is a new day. I'll make good choices. I'll be the best person I can be. I'll work hard. When mistakes happen, they're a sign of me learning versus I'm always doing this. I'm constantly not getting it right. Sometimes we have our children that tell us the same thing. Teens sometimes say, I can't get it right. I'm just not wearing it. I can't do it. Being able to say mistakes are a sign of learning. And being able to say, I'm capable. I can learn anything. I'm capable. One I love that's often said, when I get tired, I don't quit. I just take a break. Sometimes taking a break is all we need, the power of the pause. Just pausing. Sometimes doing nothing is the best thing that we could give ourselves, just a moment to pause. One I want to leave with you as I move to social. I'm worthy of love, capable of receiving love, and give love freely. I'm healthy, able, and live a life of abundance. Creating morning rituals, all that's a part of the emotional care. Many of us have created morning rituals. How many of you right now have a ritual that you do every morning? You may have not even considered it a ritual, it's just a part of your routine. You get up at a certain time, you may pray for your spiritual aspect, you may be in prayer, you may get up and start with your coffee, you may go to the gym. How many of you currently have a morning ritual or routine that you do or that you thought about wanting to implement? I'll go in my chat and check in. Yes, I have. Let me say yes. Hey, ritual. Anyone else have a morning ritual? Some may even have bedtime rituals. It may not be one so much that you think of in the morning, but you may have one in the evening. Something you do to settle in and unwind from your day. Or if you haven't created one, thinking about what might that look like? What would a bedtime ritual or evening routine look like?
One
Do you
has,
get
I
up
would
at
love to implement a brief stretch routine.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, yes. That can definitely be a part of that. You know, you can stretch in the morning. While you're sleeping, you can twist and turns in ways that can make your body stiff. Sometimes you can wake up and feel like your neck tight and different things are stiff, and stretching helps to put your body back into alignment. Stretching will be a really good one. Mhm. You could. Guided meditation, you could have your favorite beverage. You know, some people say they like Starbucks. They like to go to Starbucks. They have a specific coffee or a specific tea, or they have something that they make at home that's their favorite. Well, my favorite tea is the lemon ginger. I love lemon ginger. Nice warm tea. That's part of my bedtime routine. Evening routines. In the morning, I take a moment of just silent meditation. And in the evening, I close out with a gratitude journal. Previously, someone mentioned about not being able to like have time. Well, another part of this is when we look at the boundaries, setting boundaries, right? Being able to really think about drawing that line for yourself as to what you want, what you don't want. What am I going to accept? What will I not accept in my life? It could be a physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual boundary, but you can set it. Those healthy boundaries help you to control ownership over your life and your happiness. There are times where we love our family, our friends, our community, and things, our employment, but there's times where we have to be able to set that boundary. Because you could keep going and going. And what's happening, you may begin to notice things in your body. You're feeling anxious, you're feeling overwhelmed, spread too thin, maybe more irritable, frustrated, feeling depressed, like you really don't want to go anywhere or do anything. Is there a time to start looking at how am I setting boundaries? Healthy boundaries are important. They create structure for your life. The power of saying no, sometimes that's not easy for everyone. But learning how to say no, there's power in that word. Remember, I said self care is a part of reclaiming your power? Just sometimes being able to say no. And sometimes it makes people fearful like, oh, what if I tell them no, what will that mean? But people who truly understand, you're politely saying no.
And another comment I have is, what I have is not exactly what I want. I need to change some things by adding more prayer and workouts.
Mhm, mhm. I love that you took this moment to really begin as we were going through the wheel to assess what it looks like for you, because that's the whole thing that this will, the purpose of it, like it's to design to have you really walk through what am I currently doing? What am I doing that I want more of or want less of? Thank you for sharing that. Another part of the emotional check-in is our mindset. Our mindset determines how we feel about life, the way we're living, our perspective. It shapes our reality. So having more power over your mood and your emotions, you have more over that than sometimes we even realize. But beginning to do our emotional check-ins. How am I feeling today? Sometimes emotional literacy words are the hardest things for us to say. We might say, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine. But how many times do we label that emotion? I'm frustrated, I feel agitated, and really begin to assess the why am I feeling this? That's called that emotional check-in. We're in June, it's summertime. What typically happens around June and July? What comes up? What's the word that comes up? Most people saying, where are you going for your what? Fill it in for me. It starts with a V. It happens during the summer. Students, children are out from school. We start thinking about this. Type it in the chat if you know what I'm talking. You know the word. Starts with a V. It happens during the summer. We're planning for this sometimes. Sometimes we're like, I don't know if I can put that in my budget right now.
Vacation.
That's it. Who figured that out? Who said that? Was that you, Miss Keisha?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am. No, but actually we had like 3 or 4 people, 5, 6.
okay. 5 people said vacation.
Vacation. Yes, ma'am.
Right. Yeah. You know, that during these times, like when children are out from school, summer, everybody's like, where are you going for vacation? Are y'all taking any vacations? Well, I mean, when we think about vacations and we think about families and where each and every family may be at this time, sometimes vacations may move to staycations. It may
Yes,
shift.
that's actually in the Parents Magazine currently. Staycations.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's what staycations, right? Because the cost of that travel for your family may be much more than you want to spend at this time for your budget. So staycations are a great way to still take care of your emotional self-care. Call it that you time, right? It's a necessary element of self-care. It allows you to gain your perspective on who you are in life. And just by you saying, I'm on staycation, that's a part of that. Who you are in life, what you want, how you feel. We're human. As humans, we can take things for granted sometimes, right? So being able to stay at home in our happy zone, be aware of what we have, we can create so much with that. Reset your mindset. It's okay to take a staycation. It's still a vacation.
That's right. And also we have hurricane evacuation has to stay to the forefront, and let's not forget the heat.
Yes, yes, that hurricane evacuation is right. And that's a part of that self-care will too. Do I have my plan? Have I put together a plan for my family? And especially when you mentioned hurricane, it brought us back to, the natural disasters that many of us may have experienced or had family members experienced. So taking care of your emotional self-care is so important because it could be triggering. When you hear rain and you've gone through our great flood of 2016, if you had that experience, your emotional self-care may be at an all-time high when we're constantly getting rain and you could have experienced having gone through that flood. So taking care of yourself, yes. And someone said it's hot. You're right. That's another part of hydration. What are we drinking? Are we getting our water? Are we staying hydrated? Hydration helps. Our brain's mostly made of water. So making certain that we're taking care of that. Last part about will is social. When we think about our social self-care, here's a quote that I read. There are rare people who will show up at the right time. help you through the hard times, and stay into your best times. Those are your keepers. By N. Twiller. When you think about that, think about the people who, as I read that quote, have been there. Think about like assessing your friendship. It's powerful. Thinking about when I'm around individuals that are my friends, do I feel more energized or positive about life? Or am I feeling like my battery's drained or exhausted and it's negative? Am I feeling like every time I pick up the phone and I see this, it's like, oh, am I running from the call? Ask yourself the hard questions because this is all a part of social self care. Does it not mean that you couldn't still love your friend? Absolutely. But at its best, is it building you up? Or is it providing you with a sense of love and community? How many of times do we really stop to assess our social self care in reference to friends? Social self care might be volunteering, taking time to pour into others to do something different, volunteering with individuals that like the things you like. It helps to diminish stress and anxiety. Do you love to read? There's book clubs. Are you athletic? There's the gym. There's different types of groups, exercise groups, yoga groups, dance groups, Zumba, swimming. And the most important thing about your social self care is regardless of the amount of self care that you put into yourself, asking for help is not a weakness, it's a strength. And recognizing that your present limitations, you're willing to be vulnerable. Sometimes that's the hardest thing, to ask for help, both personal and professional. That might be if it's friends and you're overwhelmed. Who can help you? And sometimes do you find yourself saying, I don't want to bother them. They have their own things. But we never gave them an opportunity. Family. There may be times where we have looked at everything, we've tried everything, and we just can't shake it, right? We're feeling very overwhelmed. We are having difficulty like sleeping. We're up. It's been going on for numerous times. We're very uneasy. We're not doing the activities we used to do. Is it time for professional help? Do we need to see a therapist or a counselor?
Well, here's the thing, that is not my life, not by choice. I
Mm-hmm.
am really tired of a staycation. I am ready for the actual vacation.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm holding space with you.
Yeah. And what do you say about the people that feel that a problem shared is a problem exposed?
Well, that's the part about being very selective about where you share the problem, right? Just because they may be in the circle, that doesn't necessarily mean they have the capacity to hold the problem. So thinking about where you choose to share the problem, have it been proven that that's a safe space for you? It's about safety. Has there been proven safety, right? When we think about that community or that particular place, does it lend to safety? Has it been consistent? Is it reciprocated? Is it somewhere you can go that provides safety, judgment free zone, and you can be your authentic self and you can walk away and know that they've been able to hold that space for you? And you leave feeling the felt emotions of that felt safety. Assess it. Next slide. Dr. Wayne Dyer has this quote, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. I love his work. I have a book that I want to share with you. And it's a children's book. And I'm not for sure, have you ever, it's by Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it's titled Unstoppable Me, 10 Ways to Soar Through Life. Have you ever heard of that book? If so, tell me yes.
I do have one more comment, Ms. Karen.
Okay.
They said the best thing I've done for myself is stop doing busy vacations like theme parks. I love theme parks. And instead going to national parks. I love national parks. So
Thank
that
you
was
for
it.
sharing that. Theme
You,
park. Thank you for sharing that one because theme parks most often it brings me back to when my children were younger and we had the opportunity to do theme parks. Yes, those busy parks can be so overwhelming and sometimes overwhelming for the children. But we're thinking it's like, oh yes, they really want to go. They want to go to Disney. And by the time you get through one park, they're like all excited. You're pushing strollers. I get it. I'm holding that space. So again, what that tells me is you begin to evaluate and assess what you wanted on a vacation. So thinking about that is important, right? What do our family want? What do we want for our family vacation? The book I mentioned, 10 Ways to Soar Through Life. If you haven't read that book, it is really like a part of that self-care emotional part of the wheel that you could read with your children as a family. And I'd like to say someone just choose the number 1 through 10 for me. Anybody just put a number out. First one to write the number 1 through 10.
I have a 7. I have a 9, 5,
Okay. So we'll start with number 7.
8.
Okay. We got 7, 8, 9, 5. Okay. Here's what I want to tell you. Number 7. This book is titled Unstoppable Me by Dr. Wayne Dyer, 10 Ways to Soar Through Life. Number 7 says, enjoy the here and now. So when we look at number 7, this is something he's sharing that you could share with your children. It's a beautiful, colorful book. He says your past is now behind you and it has taught you many things. You also have your future and you wonder what it will bring. All these things to think about can cause your head to spin. So remember this key to happiness. Enjoy the moment that you're in. Take pleasure in the here and now. Don't always be on the run. Take the road to reach your goal. And that should be part of the fun. What do y'all think about that? And this
Someone
is some,
said that speaks to me.
yes, and that's why I love this book because I often use this book with adults and children. And it could be something that you could sit with your child and it has a story along with that. I read the goals, but throughout the story, it's talking about, children. Like it goes into share. Like I'll take and read number 5. What was the next one? So I'll go down to 5.
And what
Number
was the name of the book again, Miss Karen?
Dr. Wayne Dyer, Unstoppable Me, 10 Ways to Soar Through Life. Number 5, Farewell to Worry. If you want to be unstoppable, there's something you must know. Worrying can bring you down and cause helpless feelings to grow. Just try to remember when stressful thoughts attack that on your positive actions on your part are best way to fight back. So talk to someone if you're feeling blue. Tell them about your thoughts because sharing your burdens can help you through many of life's rough spots. Can you imagine as we are reading this as an adult, what is this like to give this gift to our child who we mentioned earlier about the levels of stress for teenagers and what they're experiencing, our young children. And they are going through very stressful times in school. Even the younger children, I work with younger children in early childhood settings, and stress looks different for them. You may see more tantrums. They're falling off, they're crying, and they may not even have the language to tell you yet because I can't put it into words. So it's more of the external behavioral that you see. You see them falling out, you see them crying, you see them, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Could they be overwhelmed as well? Could the feelings that we have as adults be transferring onto our babies, our children, without even realizing it? So as we're nearing the end, I'm going to take a moment, take the next slide, and we're going to walk through a moment of guided meditation. I want you to, if you're seated, get in a relaxed position. If you want to close your eyes, you can, or if not, you can leave your eyes open if you would like. You're going to hear the sound of music. I want you to visualize a beautiful beach. The water is crystal blue with the white sand. The air is warm. Sand is white. Listen to the rush of the waves. The children are laughing as they run past. Feel the sun's rays on your skin. The cool breeze is rustling through your hair. You are relaxed and completely at peace. You are relaxed and completely at peace. Days are rushing. Seagulls are flying overhead. Breeze is rustling through your face and hair. You are relaxed and completely at peace. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. The next slide. Thank you for spending the time to develop your self-care plan. I hope that as you went through the self-care wheel, it provided you a moment of self-reflection to explore what you think is best for you as you build your self-care plan. To think about, how do I need to do this? What are the other ways I could look at this? Are there any questions for me?
I did have a comment. Of course, the first comment was that they said it speaks to me, and she said, I feel the same. It speaks to me. And the last comment is, thank you for your time. This was a great session.
Oh, thank you all so much. And I wanted to make certain that it provided you with relative information that could allow you to really walk through. Because I value, when I tell you the power of the self-care, I value that. I'm gonna tell you a little joke too. It's a joke, but it's real. It's true. I thought that I could, like, I said, oh, I'm going skating, and I love skating. Skating was a part of movement for my body. So in my mind, I'm thinking I can return to what I've always done, and that's like skate. I'm moving fast. In my mind, I'm visualizing myself just going around the rink. The reality of it is, when I got to the rink, I had to move on the carpet in my little skates. Because when I walked on the floor, that was different for me. So sometimes in our mind, we've done things and we say, I know how to do that. I've done that. But being able to assess, when was the last time you've done that? So I leave you with that thought of, this is the beginning. It's a process, it's a journey. Embrace the journey of the art of self-care and creating your own self-plan. And it is likely to shift based on your needs, but you have an opportunity to create and recreate. Thank you.
And we do have another comment. They say, thank you, great presentations. Thank you, I really enjoyed this. Thank you, I really enjoyed it, and especially your soothing voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
Um,
much.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge. It was very relaxing
Thank you. Thank you.
and informative. I plan to use what you shared. Take care. Thank you. Very informative.
Thank you all so much. That was my intent, right? To leave you with a feeling of relaxation, because we are moving every day. We're leaving, going from one task to the next. But remember, small task, one step at a time, one task at a time. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, if we don't have any more comments, I want to thank you all again for joining us and also taking the time out of your busy day. Again, please visit our website and our Facebook page to obtain the conference call information and all webinar and in-person training registration links. Also, there's a survey at the end of the webinar. Please take a moment to answer a few questions. We greatly appreciate your feedback. Our short survey takes about a few minutes to fill out. Thank you for attending today's event. It has been an honor to have you present.
Thank
A
you.
certificate of attendance will be granted to all participants. We hope to see you at our next training. Please keep visiting our website, check your emails, our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for upcoming events and their details. Everyone have a great day. Keep smiling.
I love it. Keep smiling.